the benefits of having a strong partner in your relationship. In today's video, Cece and I, we're going to go over some of the things that we do to support each other and be strong in the way that we help each other move forward. So stay tuned.
Hey, Blissful friends, welcome back to another episode of the Blissology podcast. I am your host, Cece, and I'm joined by my long... You tired, babe?
No, tired. I don't get tired. We're talking about strong. So
okay,
no.
There we
go.
go.
Hey, everybody, this is Willem, and welcome to another episode of the Blissology podcast. If this is your first time with us, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified whenever we put out these videos. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about
love, life, family, relationships, politics.
I really don't know why she keeps bringing up politics because this is no place for that stuff.
Okay. I feel like this may be the last time. I don't think so. So guys, before we get into the topic of the day, we like to go into a blissful moment. Like blissful moment, something that happened either over the weekend or last week, and we gonna share a blissful moment with you guys. So what is yours, baby?
We went to a party last weekend.
Whoop whoop.
Party. It's been a while since COVID. We hadn't been to parties, and went to a party, and we danced, we ate, but we mostly danced and had some drinks.
We mostly danced. I agree. Because the food I didn't care much about the food because you guys know I'm watching my weight. So therefore, for my birthday in December, that's all. Not that I'm overweight or anything like that. But it was something that, it was very interesting. I had a great time at the party. The kids were home with their, I almost said sister-in-law, with their
auntie.
Well, with my sister-in-law, they were home with the babysitter. So therefore, they had a good time at home, but we had a blast. Mind you, we haven't been out since 2019. That was the last time I've been to a party. And that was at the church.
Sort of.
It was a church party. Yes. And I was like, wow. So I kind of went a little bit over the top for this party, and I can't wait for the wedding. And y'all will see pictures of me because... it's around my birthday, so I might as well just, do it all. Well, we had a good time. It was really interesting. It was fun. I know this man was just like, my husband kept pulling me off my chair. He's one of those people, like, if he's at a party, he's not going to sit down. He wants to be up.
If I want to sit down, I stay home and sit down. If I go to a party, I go there to enjoy myself. And we dance at parties. So music comes, you need to dance. That's it.
Not necessarily, baby. If there's music, you can just sit there and relax and listen to some good music. You don't have to really get on the dance floor all the time.
You say.
He was pissed a little bit because at some point you're like, okay, if you don't want to go dance, we might as well just go home. And I'm like, seriously, babe, seriously. Sometimes I just want to sit back and relax and listen and drink my, just relax and eat my food and relax and eat. That's it. But we had a good time. That's a blissful moment. We had fun. It was a bridal shower, and now I can't wait to see or to get to the wedding. It's going to be a beautiful wedding because the bridal shower is beautiful. So I'm expecting bigger, better, right? All right, guys. Anything else that you want to add?
No, it was a good party and we had fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a great party. So now let's talk about what we want to talk about today, which is
the benefits of having a strong partner in your relationship.
I so agree. Having a strong partner in your relationship really helps you with so many things.
Well, yes. I mean, you gotta have someone who can call you out when you need to be called out.
I do.
You gotta have someone who's there to support when you need the support.
Very challenging.
As you know, because relationship can be challenging. It's exciting, but challenging at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally, couples would experience highs and lows.
Yes.
But having someone who can go through the highs with you,
Yes.
but also go through the lows with
Yes.
is important.
Yes.
Because if your wife is about to just wrap up and leave the moment that things get tough, you shouldn't have married her.
I agree. Having someone who really see a future for you as well, like it's something that's really important because you want to have someone who's strong and you want to have someone who's bold and ambitious too, right?
Oh yes, ambition is important because that's how you move forward, especially financially. You gotta have someone who wants better.
Yeah,
someone who wants to see. Maybe if we're living in a 1-bedroom place right now, someone who sees us in a 3-bedroom place, but also willing,
right,
to work together to get there.
Yes, but what if the spouse is not, strong enough to come up to you and say, hey babe, listen, we've been here, or we need to move up? Because sometimes spouse can be afraid of their partner where they're not able to say much, right? So therefore they can't voice their opinion.
Then why are they even married?
Okay.
Or why are they even together, Well, hey, this is not me being completely oblivious to the fact that there are relationships where it's only one person that makes the decision. I know it exists.
Yes.
But I want to be in a relationship where if I'm doing something and my wife sees a better way, that you can come and tell me, hey, listen, I think we probably should do this that way because it makes more sense. Yes. Or let's get together to look at what do we want to do in the next few months, the next few years. Where do we want to go? That shouldn't be a conversation that my wife is afraid to have with.
Yes. Yes.
And she's not afraid to have that
I'm
conversation.
not. You guys know I talk. I love to talk. And I would have ideas and I would just call my husband at work. Hey, babe, listen, I'm thinking of this. We should go this way. And having a strong opinion on things also matter. So now let's talk about how to make a relationship stronger. How do you do that? How can one make a relationship stronger?
Well, you have to really understand the importance of being in a relationship and accept each other for who they are.
Right.
Understand their strength, their weaknesses, and take them for whatever they bring into the relationship, recognize them for that.
Yes.
Because one thing that will shut people down is when maybe I expected you to be a certain way, but you're not, and I make you feel crappy about yourself. And you would feel embarrassed just to come up with something.
True. Yes, it's so true. But I also do think that having a strong relationship means that we have to be in it together as a team, because when we're together as a team, we built the foundation a lot better, right?
Oh, yes.
Because we agree and disagree on things. I'm not going to agree with everything you said, vice versa. You're not going to agree with everything that I said, which never happened.
I agree with her more than she does me. But it's important. And this is where we have to accept each other. Start with the acceptance. Is important.
Yes.
Yeah, because we all have things that we're better at, and there are things that we're not so good at.
Right.
Take me, for instance. I'm bad at writing things down. I have to force myself to write things down.
Yes, you are.
It's just kind of how I am. Like take Cece, for instance. Sometimes she dwell on making a decision. So,
but I've been doing good.
You have been doing better. I got to give that to her. She's been doing better.
Well, you've been putting my stuff out there, so I have to.
But that's me saying that we all have things that we can get better at. And if we have a spouse that's encouraging us and really helping us see way, but not see us as a failure just because we can't do this, but sees it in us that we have the ability if we get the right push or the reminders or whatever it may be that you could do to help your partner.
Yes.
If you accept them for who they are and be in the mindset that I am here to help, it's much better than being there to just beat them down.
True.
No one wants a beat down. I know I don't want one.
I know I don't. I know I don't. But one thing you got to understand too, sometimes it's always good to have a partner that really push you to go further in life. A partner, I always look at it where it's not just one person that's worked their butt off and then the other spouse is just not wanting to do more, right?
Yeah.
Because that does happen. And I think sometimes it's good for you to really push your spouse and say, hey, listen, we can get this if we work together, or if I encourage you to do it. Sometimes people don't. Yeah. People don't like when you tell them things to do.
However we look at it, we have to always take the approach that we want better.
Yes.
And it's very encouraging when your partner comes to you and says, hey, I want to do this. And you're like, great. I think that's a good idea. Let's move forward.
I do that all the time to you.
I know.
I do that a lot.
Not too long ago, I told her, hey, listen, I got an idea for a different podcast that I want to do for my business. And I told her, hey, I have this idea. She's like, yeah. So
and I'm like, when are you going to start? Let's start now.
Yeah. So when and I'm using this as an example, but there's a lot of things that if your partner comes up and there's ways to make it work, don't look for ways that it won't work, because that's very demotivating. Yes. And that takes away drives. It takes away motivation. Yeah. Because imagine if your partner keeps coming up with ideas and you're just like the person that just keeps turning him down. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? No more ideas will be coming.
Right. It's like you not communicating well enough. I think communication, which we talk a lot about on this podcast, in a relationship, I feel like that's like the number one thing when it comes to having a strong relationship with your partner. Well, yes. You got to communicate. You got to talk, right? I'm not afraid of my husband and he's not afraid of me. And I love you. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. I don't think you should be afraid of your partner for you to communicate with them, right?
Yeah, I can't breathe.
Okay. But I'm afraid if I do certain things that he may not like it, that's different, right? If I do certain things that I know he's not okay with, then yes, no, that's different. Okay, just want to make that clear.
So she can't be looking at boys while she's out. That's a no-no.
But they can look at me. That's okay, right? Which you said last time, it's a compliment to you. You said they can look at me and they can say a nice thing about me, but I can't.
I said no, yeah, you just can't look.
But what about communication, baby, when it comes to having a strong relationship? What about that?
Well, I think communication gives us the opportunity to understand each other, and being able to build a plan together. Because if we're not talking, how do we build a life together?
True.
If the only thing we talk about is where's the food and when can we get in bed,
or when is the party?
Well, parties are good. You good, but you got to have these in-depth conversation with your partner in terms of what does our future look like.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to lay out what am I gonna need from you to get there. Yeah. Because many times I start with CeCe, I know I have some issues in those areas. I need you to help me. And like for instance, I had my board and I was remaking it, so everything, she erased everything off of the board and says, okay, you got to get it done. Now the day I was supposed to, I didn't. The next day I heard about it.
And you still didn't do it.
And then I heard about it.
And you still didn't do it.
Now the plan is for me to get it back up this weekend. But she hasn't let go. She kept on, hey, you have this.
Yes.
This is one thing that I asked from her is stay on me. Because there are certain things I'm just bad at it. And I understand, well, you can stay on top of me. There's certain things that I'm just bad at it. And this is what we can count on our partner. A partner who's not, because listen, I can get in a mood. Mm-hmm. And I can get sleek sometimes. And I know it and I try it sometimes, just my response.
Very sleek.
I can get sleek sometimes. And at one point, CeCe used to get turned off when I get sleek. I make unusual comments just because I didn't want to deal with what she wanted to tell me. So I told her, hey, listen, and I try not to get sleek anymore, but I told her, listen, if there's something I was supposed to get done and it didn't get done and it's on me to do it, don't worry if I get sleek or not. Just stay. Don't worry how I feel. Say, forget this, man. I don't care if he likes it. If he doesn't like it, I'm going to tell him. And she's been doing it. And I've been getting better. And this is where you need a partner who's strong. Because if one of you is afraid of the other, there are things that you will not be willing to do to help each other.
Right. But I think sometimes it's because of the response from the other partner, right? I mean, it could be like a first, let's say if I have an idea and I bring the idea to you and you like yelled at me or you act a certain way, and that could be a fear of me coming to you and says, hey babe, listen, I'm thinking about this. It could be a fear of me presenting it to you going forward.
And this is where communication would help, because if your partner makes you feel this way, then you need to be able to sit and let them know or let her know how she or he made you feel. Mm-hmm. And why you're feeling this way. It's not a good thing for what you got going.
Yes.
Because if my wife's making me feel crappy,
Mm-hmm.
I may do things that I shouldn't do.
Yes.
And if I'm making my wife feel crappy, she may do things.
And I think sometimes it's very exhausting. Like, it's like so tiring. Like, I mean, and there's sometimes it could be either the wife who wants to communicate with the husband, but husbands don't like to sit down and talk. They think when like, babe, I want to talk to you, they think it's either there's a problem going on or they just can't stay still. When I feel like, because I do have that problem with my husband. My husband don't like, let's sit and talk.
You got to pick the right time. You know,
sometimes like it.
Sometimes the timing is just not right. No, listen, if I'm in the middle of something, that's important to me.
But it is us communicating though. We talking. The idea popped in my head. I need to talk to you about it. But
it's crushing my idea that I was already working.
So what are you trying to tell me? Write it down?
Yes, write it down. Or set an appointment for later. But we got to pick the right setting sometimes to have this talk.
I disagree. I don't think when it comes to us, when we're married, I don't think it's good. There needs to be a certain time, a certain place.
I've learned to deal with you. But I think for anyone who's looking to have, I've learned to deal with her. It's just that I've learned that, hey, listen, she's the type that something pops up and this is where understanding your partner is important. Now, I know that's how she is. So I've rearranged the way I do things.
Yeah, me too.
To be able to. So, but I think it's important to pick the right moment, because there are times that Cece wants to come and talk. It's just not the right time.
Oh, listen, there's time when I want to talk to him, just him turn around and look at me, and I'm like, okay, never mind, and I just walk away because I can already tell he's not in the mood to talk. He's in the middle of something. So I said, you know what? I'm just going and type it or email it to him or write it down or text him whenever he gets to it. Because if I don't tell him at the moment, I'm going to forget. And it could be an idea that the Holy Spirit gave me and I want to give it to him. Right. But I learned my lesson. I don't really approach him, but I am being honest with you.
Yes.
When I do these things, and I want that honesty. Right.
Oh, yes. And this is where, and I'm glad that based on how we've run our relationship, we've grown to understand these things about each other. But being honest is important, because you don't want to keep doing things just so when you know deep inside it's not what you want to do. So if it's not something, just like I want to keep sitting here listening to Cece when I know I would much rather be finishing what I started. No, now she knows that. She gets that look. I got to finish this. And there's many times I've told her, you know what, Jessica, it's a good idea, but just hang on. Let me finish this and then we'll get to it. Because one thing you'll find out, if you're not in the right mindset, whatever's coming in here is going out here.
And it happens all the time. And I'm like, babe.
Gotta do what you can to avoid it.
Babe, did you hear what I just said? Huh?
and this is what's important to have. Now, but in this, you have to be honest. If this is not the best time for you to have a deep conversation, it's okay to tell your partner. Now, don't get like crazy upset. Or you could just look at them funny and they know what you mean.
Well, yeah, like this is the look that he gave us, me and the girls. Like if he doesn't want to be bothered, don't come and ask him questions. Don't come in the middle of him doing something.
I need a do not disturb sign to put on my back.
He's like, and then sometimes when the girls want to come in the office and ask him for something, I'm like, don't go in there. He's not in the mood. Because I just got mine look. So you don't want to get that look. So therefore, we know of each other. We know how you operate, and then you know how I operate. Yes. So therefore, we trust and understand each other. I think that's very important. So being honest, and also the next key point I want to touch on is trusting each other, right?
Well, yes, you got to have that trust, because I expect you to do things, so I don't have to keep doubting you.
Yes,
I don't have to keep questioning you. If you're going to do this, and if you don't do it, then I'll call you out on it.
Right.
But I don't have to keep being skeptic about, is she going to or is she not? No. I trust you. Or I trust you to do the right thing.
Right. The right decision.
And this is one of the reasons I'm not jealous.
I am.
She is.
Not as
nuts.
much as baby, don't say I'm nuts. That's not true. You
She
know
is
what? Listen, the
crazy.
thing is when you in your 20s and
She
you
is
like,
nuts.
crazy jealous over your partner, but as you get older, you're like, okay, I know who I am and I know what I got. No one can compete with me. If he decided to go out and do whatever, that's his loss. That's how
She's
I look
right.
at it. I'm grown. Listen, you do you and I'm gonna do me.
And you know what? This is strength.
Yes.
Because when you anchor in your ability and your contribution to this relationship, you know that you know what you have.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about
There's
anything
no
else.
competition. Listen.
And this is where the trust, but it starts with trusting this person.
Yes.
Allowing them to be them and make sure they know what they have. Like, yes, I know who I have at home. And right now there is no one else who can replace the person I have at home. I don't care how pretty you are. I don't care how fancy you look. I don't care how much you can shake it. There's no one out there who can. But, feeling this about my partner where I know that I know who I have. I know what they're capable of. And I know they know that I trust them to do the right thing. And I know she trusts me to do the right thing.
Yeah.
There's no coercing me or convincing me by anyone else to do anything.
Right.
Besides coming home to my woman.
Yeah.
And that's strength.
Yes.
Because, people find themselves going out there and do things because there's some issues.
Tempted.
There's some issues at home. Temptations are there, and we will continue to be tempted until we no longer exist.
Okay, much better.
So.
Yes, I agree. And some men are very weak. And some men, they just can't help it when they see a pretty girl, whatever, with big booty.
Some women are very weak. And
No, it's a lot easier for the men. Excuse you. No, that's not true. Right, ladies? It's a lot easier for the guys to go and get tempted versus us women because we can control it. They can't.
I don't know what she's talking about.
We can control our feelings. We may see someone flirting with us. Doesn't mean that we're going to, be like, okay, well, let me go flirt back or whatever. But I think at the same time, it's like I trust who I am. And as a wife, as a mother, I know what I carry. I carry a title of wife. So therefore, I should not be, doing anything wrong with that title, right? So therefore, you got to be able to trust your partner. Yes, the guys are very, very weak. And I truly feel like, but I think sometimes too, it's self-confidence too. When someone don't have that self-confidence in themselves and they feel like, I'm not pretty enough or I'm not skinny enough. My husband will see someone else or they'll probably start doing things that, behind my back, And I think sometimes when you trust that person, but not having that self-confidence can make it hard for you to truly trust that guy, right, babe?
Yeah, but in a relationship, we can help build our partner, and this is where strength also is important. If you're the one beating down your partner, of course they're not gonna have self-confidence.
It's not so much you beating down your partner; it's your partner who's beating down on themselves because they're not strong enough to have that confidence that they, like what I just said to you guys, like. No one can compete with me. Like you got to be able to have that confidence and say that and stamp it too and acknowledge that that no one can compete with you. So by having that self-confidence, I think is really important because you know who you are. And sometimes when we look in the mirror, we see our face don't look the same anymore. Our body don't look the same anymore. And we tend to go into that low self-esteem. And we tend to look, we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, and a husband can have somebody else or he's seeing someone else. Things of that nature can really destroy your relationship.
Yeah, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not good with yourself, yeah,
yeah.
So, but your partner can always help.
Yes, I agree.
Partner can always help. I mean, self-confidence a lot of the time comes out of how things happen in the home. Meaning that I feel inadequate because maybe someone doesn't make me feel like I'm good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, our body will change. We all will change. But am I still being is my partner still making me feel that I'm just as valuable as I was? Is my partner making me feel that I'm still as pretty as I was?
Mm-hmm.
Or is my partner making me feel I'm still as handsome as I've always been?
But I think it has to start within you first.
Well,
If you don't
yes,
see it, it's
a
hard.
lot. Yeah, it's important.
Yes.
But however, we can always use a boost because yes, not every one of us are strong in ourselves as we'd like to be.
Right.
But when we're in a relationship with someone, that person can help us.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we all would like to be Superman and Superwoman.
Yes, Wonder
But
Woman.
we're not.
Wonder
we're
Woman.
Not one. Superman, Superwoman, Wonder Woman, Batman, whomever. We all would like to be a superhero.
Captain
Better.
Marvel.
We all would like to be a superhero where we macho, we can handle everything on our own. But
Yes.
we have to understand sometimes we need help.
Of course.
And sometimes the greatest help we can get comes from the home because there are things that your partner would do for you that your friend would not.
Right.
Well, if you have a good partner, because I know many friends that are better than partners.
Yeah.
But there are things that your partner would do for you that a friend would not.
Yes.
So if within the home, someone can help whoever has a low self-esteem or a low self-confidence, if the partner can help them boost that or by whatever means.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, when someone's not right with themselves, anything can happen.
Yes.
Say what? Anything can happen.
Okay.
Why clap if you're still around?
He's still
So remember
around.
your lyric.
All right. So I truly feel like the next key point that we should touch on is compromising. What about compromising, baby, for you to have a strong relationship? What about it?
Well, sometimes you have to tone down your strength. People with huge egos,
Ooh.
I'm talking about I am me and it's my way and
Or the highway.
It's you and your way. That's not gonna work. So if your egos is like up here and your wife or your partner's ego is also up here, you need to tone it down.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to give in a little.
And if you are stubborn.
Well, ego is synonymous with stubborn.
Listen, stubborn sounds better. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, if you're the type of person where your ego is like crazy up there and everything revolved around you, you're going to have to tone that stuff down.
You're such a stubborn little brat.
Yeah, but you know, when you're like this, you can't listen.
Right.
Because it's
your ego.
You only hear yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if both of you can only hear yourselves, then you can't communicate.
Can you imagine you both
you can never decide on one thing.
Right.
Unless it's the same thing that you want. But if you want something and this person wants something, it's a fight. Because you're not giving up, I'm not giving up, then we fight and whoever wins gets it.
I feel like not everything is worth fighting for. Okay? Don't you agree?
Yeah, there's some stuff, just say
forget it.
Yeah.
We used to fight a lot early on.
No, we never used to. We've had some disagreement.
A lot of disagreement.
A whole lot. But enough. Enough for us to learn.
Yes. And this is all about like, the beginning of our marriage because we didn't know.
We were still growing and still learning. We were kids.
We were still learning about each other because we didn't really not that I want to say we didn't know each other, but we didn't live in a home together.
Listen, when you live with someone,
it's different.
There's things that you realize, there's some issues you realize they had. That if you knew they had them before, you probably would leave them with the parents.
Oh my God. My dad is watching, right? My dad is watching. So yeah, this is why there's the pros and the cons when it comes to marriage. Live with someone before you marry that person, or the old way, like we did. We both have our parents and then we move into a new home. But then this is when we're like, oh, I didn't know you were like that. I didn't know you have these issues. I didn't know you had that problem. So therefore, we were like, have our fights.
Well, we've had a disagreement, but
We had
I
our
mean,
fights.
as
I would.
we grew together,
Yes.
we understood each other better,
Yes.
and we realized that in a relationship, everyone will get to a point where they mature in their relationship, where they know, they kind of learn each other and they know what works for each other, and together we find a happy ground.
Yes.
Because you can't keep fighting with your spouse all the time. You might as well just break it off.
Well, not really.
What's the point? I don't know. I don't want
You
to
don't wanna
fight
break
for
it up,
the
'cause
rest
we
of my
don't-
life. I will grow old faster if all I'm
see
doing is
counseling.
fighting.
There's counselors, right?
Well, yes, you can see counselors.
Or therapists.
And then you break it off.
Oh no, please don't listen to him. It's worth fighting for if it is worth fighting
keeping your
for.
relationship together is worth fighting
Like
for.
if you're
but-
married, yes. But if you're like dating someone, then you know what, you tried and then now it's time to let it go. This is not the one that God has for you. So
Yeah, but to make your relationship strong, you have to be able to compromise. But the compromise is not just that, hey, listen, you want this? Yeah, forget, I may want something else. You can have it. No. You sit and you find something that works for both of you.
Right.
And sometimes one may have to give in a little more. And sometimes one may say, you know what? But make sure that you still keep an open communication and make sure that both parties understand, hey, this is the way that we've decided to go, even if it means you get what you want and I don't get what I want. But we come to an understanding.
yes.
Yes. And that allows you, because next time I'm going to say, now it's my turn.
Oh no, then what's the point? So we're taking turns now. So this time,
No, don't do that.
no. What's the point? Then it's not you being compromised. It's you saying
That's bad advice.
that is really bad.
Don't take that.
Coming from someone who's been married for 13 years.
Yeah,
that is bad
but
advice.
when the compromise comes in, it depends on what it is. Either one of us can compromise, can give in a little.
Yes.
And that's what it comes down to. Are we willing to sacrifice our relationship over a decision? No. Or of a thing? No.
Yes. Sure.
So, and this is what we have to look at, the bigger picture. And what's more important? You getting this thing maybe you want, or you maybe getting to work on this project, or us being together.
Right.
And us being together will always be the bigger thing, because I get my turn next time.
That is so messed up. That's not compromise. Anyways, I think that's definitely gonna lead us into our next point, which is spending time together, spending some quality time together. Like when you compromise with someone, okay, because sometimes, like I said before, when we used to, in the beginning of our marriage, like I would go to bed, upset. And of course, I know I did have an anger problem. Like I would get very upset.
I bought a book.
He got me an anger management book and I thought it was weird, but it did help me. So when you need help, you have to ask for help, right? So therefore, by us being, like we talk about compromise, we talk about other things we should do, like, hey, listen, I didn't like what you did. We communicate. And then of course, the spend good time together really bring us closer, right? So I think that's something that couples should definitely do to keep their relationship stronger, is spend good quality time together.
Set time aside. If you have kids, set some time away from the kids where you can be with your
like
partner.
last weekend.
Yes. It's important to do that, because you can lose yourself in all the craziness that happen in a relationship, especially when you have kids, because sometimes it become all about the kids and you forget about you.
Well, yeah. When they're little, it's all about them.
And you get to learn what's going on with your partner.
Yeah.
Because when you spend time together, you have open conversation about stuff.
Yes.
And you fix stuff.
Yes. One thing I do love about when we spend our time together, we go like way back, how things, the way we used to do things and how we used to go to places together and how he used to drive me to my parents' house. It's kind of like bring back old memories, and we kind of like just sit and talk, which is very important. It's good to have these laughs when you were younger, when you prior of having kids and prior of having so many responsibilities. So it's really good to have those quality time together. I think it makes us stronger and it bring us um
Closer.
yeah,
Yeah.
get a foot massage.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you do, however you do, wherever you do it,
Mm-hmm.
spend some time together. So, everybody, a strong partnership can be hard because there's a lot of things you have to do. It takes commitment, it takes energy, it takes time to listen, time to learn,
Yes.
and be present in each other's life.
Yes.
It takes time. Now, we're sitting here talking about it like it's a walk in the park. It's not.
Mm-mm.
It takes time. There'll be moments that you're upset, you get pissed. Things will happen.
You go to sleep.
However, you have to think
Yes.
of what you have. And what you have is your relationship with each other. And you're looking to do whatever is necessary to keep this going.
Yes.
So it takes sharing successes and owning the missteps.
Yes.
We'll screw up.
Yes.
We're people. We will screw up.
And just be willing.
And open to new things.
Yes.
Be willing to challenge
And-
your partner
Yeah.
and be willing to be challenged.
Well, yeah. It's a fair game.
And you know what? At the end of it, you'll find that as you put yourself in the position to be in this relationship and to do what's necessary to make it work, you will have a stronger relationship.
Yes.
And nothing will be able to get in the way. So that's our podcast on the things you could do
to make your relationship
stronger. So
Yes.
thank you everybody for listening to our podcast today.
Yes.
We appreciate you. If this is your first time with us, please remember to subscribe
Like the
and
video.
hit on that notification bell wherever it may be on the screen so you can be notified.
And don't forget to share it with your friends and family and let them know how good this podcast is.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Share it with whomever
Yes.
you think it could be beneficial to.
It costs you nothing.
I
I'm always
agree.
going to say that.
She always wants to say it costs you nothing.
So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you so much for continue supporting this channel.
Again, don't forget that you can check us out on the audio channels, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. I know many of you guys been listening to our audio channel. So thank you. We appreciate you. We love you and keep supporting the channel. So we'll see you next Saturday. Peace.
Bye.